The Pikmin series is a unique one among Nintendo franchises, as it doesn't have the typical villainous threat that many of the other games do. They're games about survival in a harsh and unforgiving ecosystem. All the enemies that try to kill you are really only doing so because of their own instincts. There's no good or evil in the circle of life, like the time I killed all the ants in my car with Raid after they demanded I provide them with basic amenities. We're all victims here. However, there is one character in the Pikmin series that I think is a perfect antagonist. Is it the greedy president of Olimar's company that constantly risks his employees' life and limb to pay off his debts? Maybe, but he's not who I'm talking about today. No. This character is much more akin to the other threats you find in these games. Cold, unfeeling, hungry. He's always making everyone's lives more difficult and thwarting their plans for survival. Despite all this, he doesn't really have any malice or evil intent, but is truly just a harbinger of chaos. Of course, I'm talking about Louie. Yeah, I just said that. Now, Louie is one of the two main captains in Pikmin 2, kinda like a Luigi to Mario's Olimar. In fact, that's even how they got their names. Olimar is an anagram of Mario, with an embarrassing leftover L, and Louie just kinda sounds like Luigi. But while Luigi is an easily frightened but brave brother who will do anything to help Mario, Louie is loyal to no one. When Olimar first meets Louie, he seems like that coworker you know who's lazy or just incompetent. He and Louie are sent off to collect treasures from the treacherous planet PNF-404 to help their company pay off a massive debt, accrued when Louie's ship was attacked by a space rabbit and he lost all the golden pick carrots he was supposed to deliver. But, if you complete Pikmin 2's challenge mode without losing a single Pikmin, which is a friggin' nightmare by the way, you unlock a secret cutscene called Louie's Dark Secret, where we find out that there was no space rabbit at all. Louie ate all the golden pick carrots himself and then falsified his report to the president. So the whole reason they even have to go on this journey anyway is entirely his fault. And then after enough treasure is collected to pay off the debt, Olimar leaves the planet and realizes that Louie isn't in the ship with him while he's heading home, and he and the president immediately have to go back to rescue him. Now you could say this blunders on Olimar for not realizing, but Louie actually wanted to be left behind so he could eat all the different creatures on PNF-404. Eventually, Olimar and the president do find Louie and take him back to their home planet of Hokotate. In Pikmin 3 and 4, Louie is not a playable character, at least in the main story, but he takes on more of an antagonist role in these games. In Pikmin 3, the three main characters of Alf, Brittany, and Charlie are exploring PNF-404 to find fruit to take back to their home planet, which is experiencing a resource shortage, and its people will likely perish if their mission is not successful. During their journey, they encounter Louie in a precarious situation and decide to save him. That night, he steals all the food they've collected so far and bolts. Luckily, they do catch him again, and this time they tie him up. In Pikmin 4, he was sent back to PNF-404 to rescue Olimar, but immediately gets distracted and does his own thing, where he eventually joins Moss in her quest to create more leaflings, which does help the people survive on the planet without their life support systems, but personally I don't think Louie cares much about that. He just generally acts as a hindrance to the player in his attempts to not be caught and brought back home. Now, even though Louie is a constant antagonistic threat to the player over several games, this doesn't necessarily make him a villain, right? Well, even though he doesn't act with malice, I think Louie embodies the pure essence of what a Pikmin enemy is. In fact, I'd say he's the epitome of an instinctual creature. He's constantly eating, and when he's not, he's just trying to get more food. Also, he's a master of survival. You might think he's relatively helpless because he has to be rescued from the planet's creatures a few times, but honestly, I don't think he actually needed to be rescued. If you look at Louie's entries in the Piklopedia, the in-game database of all the creatures you encounter, he has a recipe and intimate knowledge of how almost every single enemy tastes, even the Titan Dweevil and Scornet Maestro, who are the two creatures who captured him. Not to mention he's also eaten the Plasm Wraith from Pikmin 3, a being with like borderline supernatural abilities. Louie is literally the apex predator. Another reason why I think Louie is the perfect villain for the Pikmin franchise is because he's a complete foil to Olimar's character. Olimar's a very reliable and focused employee, extremely loyal to his company, while Louie is completely unreliable and couldn't care less about his job. And while Olimar wants nothing more than to get back home to see his family, Louie desperately wants to stay on PNF-404 and has no family apart from his grandmother. These characters are polar opposites in so many ways, but also similar in their ability to survive and drive to achieve their respective goals. To summarize it all, Louie doesn't actually care about anyone, except for his grandmother, and would rather be left alone to a life of eating in solitude. In fact, despite going on several missions with Olimar by the time of Pikmin 4, he can't even remember what the guy looks like. Normal relationships mean nothing to this man. He's a ruthless animal with a one-track mind, a mind to consume everything he can get his tiny little hands on, and what terrifies me the most? He has no remorse, no limits. No limits except the size of his stomach. He's like Kirby without a conscience.